How many of you know the show Scooby-Doo?
As we're going in for the landing, Frank Sinatra comes on, and I hear him say, Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Ever wonder why Scooby-Doo's monsters are always just guys in masks? Here's the thing most people don't know.
Like a haunted mansion in the background, and it's dark and spooky, and there was a big ghoul and something like that. And they were scared to death. They went, we can't put this on the air. It's too frightening for these kids. Every parent in America was going to call in and say, why are you giving my kid nightmares?
The original Scooby-Doo was actually rejected by CBS executives. They essentially told the creators it was too frightening for kids. So what did they change? By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how network executives surgically removed the horror from Scooby-Doo without killing the ratings, and why that decision shaped how an entire generation learned to be scared. If you're watching this, you probably grew up with Scooby-Doo.
Gender specific, it wasn't a boys cartoon or a girls cartoon or any of those things.
It was a talking dog.
Or maybe you raised kids who did. You remember the formula, right? The gang pulls up to a creepy mansion, there's a monster. Shaggy and Scooby run away eating sandwiches. Chase scene with goofy music. And then, boom, they pull off the mask, and it's just some guy trying to scare people away from a property. Simple, predictable, comforting. But here's what you never knew. That version of Scooby-Doo, the one you remember, that's the rewritten version. The original pitch, the one that walked into CBS in 1969, was way darker, genuinely creepy. And network executives took one look at the artwork and basically said this was too scary for Saturday morning television. So they sent the creators back with a clear order. Dial down the horrors, dial up the comedy, and make sure every monster is fake. And those changes, that course correction, it didn't just create a hit show, it shaped how millions of kids learned to process fear. Today, I'm going to walk you through the Scooby-Doo that was too scary for television and show you exactly what changed, why it changed, and what we all missed as kids that we can finally see now as adults. Let's start with the panic that made it all happen. Okay, so here's where it gets interesting. To understand why Scooby-Doo was rewritten, you have to understand what was happening to Saturday morning TV in the late 1960s. Think about this for a second. It's 1969. Vietnam is on the news every single night. There are protests in the streets.
I'm sorry you feel that way. I was trying to be real to your character.
If you like goof on me in the sequel, I'm coming after you.
Yeah, then I'll give you a Scooby snack.
Parents are scared. The world feels like it's falling apart. And now on top of everything else, parent groups are furious about what their kids are watching on Saturday mornings. Organizations like Action for Children's Television and the PTA are attacking violent superhero cartoons and action shows. They're saying these programs are making kids aggressive. They're demanding safer content, and they're threatening boycotts. Now, if you're a CBS executive, let's say you're Fred Silverman, the guy in charge of Saturday morning programming, you've got a problem. You need ratings. Kids love spooky adventure shows. But if you put something too scary or too violent on the air, parent groups will come after you. Advertisers will pull out. You could lose your job. So Silverman goes to Hanna-Barbera, the animation studio behind the Flintstones and the Jetsons, and he gives them a very specific request. Give me something spooky. Something that'll hook kids, but make it safe enough that parents won't riot. Sounds smart, right? Here's the thing, what came back was not safe, and that's where the story really begins. So Silverman's request goes to two writers, Joe Ruby and Ken Spears, and they come up with a concept called Mysteries 5, later renamed Who's SS Scared? And when CBS executives saw it, they panicked. Let me paint the scene for you. It's 1969. Joe Ruby and Ken Spears walk into a pitch meeting at CBS. They've been working on this mystery show for weeks. Teenagers, a dog, haunted locations, creepy monsters. They're confident. They think they've nailed it. Fred Silverman is there. So is CBS president Frank Stanton. They start flipping through the concept art, haunted mansions with dark, heavy shadows, monster designs that look genuinely menacing, a tone that's more serious.
But he's not a shadow. He's a green ghost.
Now there's two of them.
More atmospheric. This isn't a comedy. This is a mystery show with real scares. And then Stanton stops. He looks up, and the reaction was simple. This is too frightening for kids to put on the air. Now let me repeat that. The president of CBS, one of the biggest networks in America, looked at a cartoon about a talking dog and said it was too scary for children. Ruby and Spears are stunned. They thought they delivered exactly what Silverman asked for, something spooky. But here's what they didn't understand. Spooky and scary are two very different things to a network executive in 1969. Spooky is fun. Spooky sells cereal. Spooky keeps kids glued to the TV. Scary? Scary gets you angry letters. Scary gets you boycotts. Scary gets your show canceled before it even airs. So Stanton almost kills the project entirely. He's ready to walk away, but Silverman sees potential. He tells Ruby and Spears, go back, tone it down, make it lighter, make it funnier, and whatever you do, make sure the dog is the star. And that's when the Scooby-Doo you know was born. So what exactly did they change? Let me break it down for you because this is where it gets fascinating. Okay, so Ruby and Spears go back to the drawing board, and they make 3 major changes that completely transform the show.
I guess those chickens can fly after all.
Yeah, they just don't know how to land.
Change number 1, focus on the dog. In the original pitch, the dog was just a sidekick, a background character. But Silverman says, no, make the dog the center of the show. Make him funny, make him cowardly, make him eat all the time. So they redesign the dog, they give him a goofy voice, they make him scared of everything, and they name him Scooby-Doo, a name Silverman came up with based on a Frank Sinatra song lyric, Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Now here's why this matters. Scooby's fear becomes the audience's release valve. Every time something scary happens, Scooby freaks out, he runs away, he hides, and kids watching at home, they laugh. The tension breaks, the fear never builds too high. That's not an accident, that's design.
Just like that.
Come out and play.
It's him!
Come out, come out. Let's get out of here. The Mystery Machine is out back. I'll drive.
Change number 2, dial up the slapstick. The original pitch was more serious, more atmospheric. It leaned into the mystery and the mood. The rewrite, they add chase scenes with goofy music, they add physical comedy, they add a laugh track. Think about the classic Scooby-Doo chase. The gang runs through a hallway. Doors open and close. The monster chases them in circles. There's a fun, upbeat song playing. That formula, the one you remember from every single episode, that was added specifically to undercut the horror. Every time the show starts to feel scary, it pivots to comedy. Every time.
I was on the road when I saw that combine. Is that Cornfield Clem?
Yes. Or to be more precise, Abner, your hired hand.
I can't believe it.
It's him, all.
Change. Number 3, guarantee the monsters are fake. And here's the big one. The rule that defined the entire franchise. Every monster has to be fake. No real ghosts, no supernatural threats. Every single episode ends with the gang pulling off a mask and revealing a greedy adult in a costume. Now, most people think that was just a creative choice, a quirky part of the show's identity, but here's the truth. Accounts suggest it was strongly encouraged by the network.
And the first thing to do is find Mr. Sims. And I bet he's in that ancient village. That's a perfect place for ghosts.
Oh, who wants to find an old haunted village?
CBS executives did not want kids genuinely terrified of real ghosts and monsters going to bed at night. They wanted kids to learn that scary things have rational explanations. So the show leaned hard into rational explanations and monsters in masks as its core formula. The monster shows up, the gang investigates, they unmask the villain, and the message is always the same. Don't be afraid. It's just a person. It's not real. And you know what? It worked. Scooby-Doo became a massive hit. It ran for multiple seasons. It spawned decades of spin-offs, movies, and reboots. Making the show less scary didn't kill it. It made it immortal. But here's the question. What were kids really learning from this formula? Because when you look closer, Scooby-Doo was teaching something way deeper than just monsters aren't real.
Like, which way did they go?
They went that way.
Oh, thanks, man.
It's all right.
Okay, so let's talk about what Scooby-Doo actually did to the kids who watched it. because this isn't just about entertainment, this is about psychology. Think about your own childhood for a second. If you watched Scooby-Doo, you probably remember feeling scared in the moment, right? The creaking doors, the shadows, the monster's glowing eyes. But you also knew, deep down, that it would be okay by the end. The gang would catch the bad guy. The monster would be unmasked. Everything would make sense. That predictability, that safety net, that was the entire point. You could argue that Scooby-Doo taught kids that fear is manageable, that scary things usually have rational explanations, that if you investigate, if you ask questions, if you look behind the mask, you'll find the truth. And in 1969, in the middle of Vietnam and protests and a world that felt chaotic and dangerous, that message was powerful. Academic researchers and critics have actually written about this. They describe Scooby-Doo as a relief from real-world dystopia, a show that gave kids a world where mysteries always made sense and bad guys always got caught.
Light? The light's on. Oh, that's me? That's right. That's you.
Just think, Scooby. No ghostly voice will get past your...
It was emotional training, a way to practice being scared without being traumatized. And the unmasking ritual, that became a lesson in skepticism. Don't trust appearances. Question authority. Look for the truth behind the lie. Every single episode reinforced that message. The monster isn't what it seems. The villain is usually someone you trusted, and if you're brave enough to investigate, you'll figure it out. Now here's where it gets even more interesting, because as adults, when we go back and rewatch those old episodes, we see something else, something the creators might not have even intended. We see the real monsters, and they're not wearing costumes. Okay, so here's the thing most people don't notice until they're older. Scooby-Doo isn't really about monsters, it's about greed. Go back and watch any classic episode. Look at the villains, look at their motives. Almost every single bad guy is a businessman, a corrupt landowner, or a greedy developer. They dress up as a ghost to scare people away from a property so they can buy it cheap. They fake a monster to cover up a smuggling operation. They create a haunted legend to hide a treasure or a crime. The monster is always a metaphor for fraud, corruption, and economic desperation. And the settings? Abandoned amusement parks, failing hotels, closed factories, ghost towns. These aren't just spooky backdrops. They're symbols of economic collapse, of businesses that failed, of communities that fell apart. Think about this. In 1969, America was dealing with massive economic anxiety. The post-war boom was fading. Industries were closing. People were losing jobs.
Shaggy and Scooby, you go undercover as scarecrows, replacing the two we short-circuited.
Okay, anyone else have a plan?
We'll follow behind using the shortwave radio in the Mystery Machine to find...
And Scooby-Doo, whether intentionally or not, was reflecting that anxiety. The real villains weren't supernatural. They were the people who lied and cheated for money, the people who exploited fear for profit. And the gang, they were the ones who exposed the truth, who held the powerful accountable, who said, no, we're not going to let you get away with this. That's a radical message for a Saturday morning cartoon. And as adults, we can finally see it. So here's the final question. Would the original darker Scooby-Doo have survived? Or would we have lost the show entirely? Let me bring this all together. In 1969, CBS executives looked at a spooky mystery show and said, too scary. They forced the creators to tone it down, add comedy, and guarantee every monster was fake. And those changes, that compromise, created a formula that worked for 50 years. It taught generations of kids how to process fear safely, how to question what they see, how to look for rational explanations in a chaotic world. And it gave us a show that as adults, we can rewatch and see layers we never noticed as kids. The economic anxiety, the corrupt villains, the message about greed and power. Making Scooby-Doo less scary didn't kill it. It made it immortal.
Like, stop moving, Scooby.
I'm not.
This way!
Because here's the truth. The monsters were never real, but the lessons, those stuck with us. The show that was too frightening for television became the show that taught us how to be brave, and maybe that's the real magic of Scooby-Doo. So here's my question for you. What's your favorite Scooby-Doo episode, and why? Drop it in the comments. I want to know what scared you as a kid and what you see in it now. And if you want to go deeper into how classic cartoons shaped childhood, I've got another video coming up. Click the link in the description or wait for the end screen. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the show that was too scary for TV, hit that subscribe button because I've got more nostalgic rabbit holes coming your way. Thanks for watching. And remember, the monsters aren't real, but the stories, those last forever.